So I think like my
Yeah.
voice is clear, right?
Yeah, yes, voice is good. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Nuwan. I'm from Sri Lanka. So today we are going to like talk about the democratic education movement in Sri Lanka. We call it like a Sri Lankan dream. If I want you to like explain what Sri Lankan education look like, so I can use this image. So it simply explain how Sri Lankan education looks like. What is the that's it? It has it has transmitting education system where like kids they do have creative attitude, they have creative abilities, they have different talents and everything. But at the end of the education system, we have 13 years of school education. So what they do is they convert the students into like it's almost same as a teacher. So it's like teacher-oriented education system what we have. So according to like democratic education, what we are trying to do is we are trying to move from the transmitting education system to the network education system. That's our target. So as a movement of Sri Lankan democratic education, we had two approaches. We decided to like target students as well as teachers. So at the beginning, we were focusing mainly on students. So we had certain workshops where we give like students skills more than the knowledge in the books, academic knowledge. We were trying to giving them skills by we try to make sure that they will learn by doing. So in the after school, what we did was we went to schools. We like asked the students to stay after school. We did different projects with them, but then we realized that then we had like different movements. Like this is some workshop we did for street children. So, but like then we realized that even though we are making the effort, but we are not doing enough because the reason is per year you can maximum you can reach for like 100 students, and it's really hard to find fundings and everything. So therefore, what we did was, as Sri Lankan Democratic Education Movement, we changed our strategies. So we were focusing more on teachers because if we were able to convince teachers, so we will have more effect, like more impact. If I convince 100 teachers per year, so I can like if I can make an impact on around like 10,000 or 1,000 students. So then I realized that focusing teachers will be more effective than going towards the students. So then what we do is we start organizing workshops for teachers all around the country. So like convincing them. So what is democratic education? What are the changes we can do in our existing education system? So we had our first publication. It's called Education Style to Make Tomorrow Better Than Today. It's also like a book which focus on democratic education. This book got the gold medal in First World Conference on Education 2017 as the best education research publication. And then we went to some schools. We were trying to convince them rather than having normal studying labs to have labs like this. We call them this is a maker space, or we call it igniter space. Igniter space means in this lab the books are not allowed. So here you can see like some teachers like they are practicing. So they are like innovative ideas. So teachers will get practice and they are going to do it with their students. So in this lab, books are prohibited. You can't take books inside the lab. So students will completely learn by doing. So that part is there. So we were convinced like have this lab in 3 schools in Sri Lanka. So these labs are functioning properly. And then we want to make it a like national impact. So last year we initiated a project called Most Innovative Teacher of the Year for 2018. So India, what we did was we want to like make a collaboration of teachers who have the same idea as ours. So then, so it was a tough task. You have to paste posters like all around the country. So this is in the night. I'm just preparing posters to be pasted around the country. But like, so we had to go like around the country. These are some images we took on our way. So it's like almost 38,000 kilometers last 2008 years. So 2018 we were like for the whole year we were traveling 38,000 kilometers around the country, but it was quite good. We were managed to like get applicants from 2,884, and we were about to like get the our first Sri Lankan Democratic Education Conference on 1st of December. So there were like almost 250 participants. So we had like initially we had Cecilia coming there and Mike from Germany, Nessie from Israel, Michael from Germany again. So we were like able to like collaborate people and even the people from education ministry and to bring them to one place. So we had like speakers. So Marco was there. So online, and we had Mike, Michael, Cecilia, and Nessie, and one of the Sri Lanka professor called Sunita Kanran. So what we did was, using these speakers, we were convincing the Sri Lankan education crowd that there's something beyond what we are doing practicing at the moment. So it went really well. So other than that, from the teachers that we contacted from all around the country, so out of 2,884 teachers, we found this one teacher. So he had this innovative ideas. He's supposed to teach science, but like in his classroom, he was after school he was teaching something else to students. Like I'll tell you one example. He found one student. She's not capable of reading and writing because like from the birth she has some difficulties. So therefore she can't read and write. So as a result of that, what this teacher did was he taught her like how to like work with coconut shells, how to make creative things using coconut shells. So at this moment, she didn't pass her academic qualification, but at this moment, she's running her own business where she makes some items using coconut shells and she's selling it. So it's like, that means this teacher has initiated something which is unique among the students. So that's why we're selecting her as the most innovative teacher of the year. So we didn't stop there. So what we do, we select this teacher as an icon. So we like contact media. So we make him like a role model of the country. So it didn't go like 100% success, but I think we have reached around like 100,000 people in the country. So now we take this teacher and we say that he's a role model. Follow him. Now we are like trying to get more and more teachers like passionate about this type of education. So but like we were like able to last month we were able to like host like one like full seminar based on this teacher's work. So he's like showing like one of the like this is like it's not I think what do you call it, Marco, this one? It's like the supporting thing when you want to walk.
Yeah, I don't actually remember. Jerry, what do they call these things?
And I think sketches, right? Like this is like when you have like when you have wound, like when you're injured, to support your walking, they help you, right? So he's not. What he's showing is what he taught his children to do. Like one of the children, he found that his grandfather's find it difficult to walk and climbing steps. So with the help of this teacher, the students like me were able to like make new sketches. So where it can use to climb steps, where you can use it to like as to walk, as well as sometimes you can convert into a like chair. When you're tired, you can sit down. So he's representing like he's showing his items. You can clearly see that in this workshop there are like more than 500 student people. You can see this household. So the whole crowd is packed. So we were like able to have like 500. Like this is one of the workshops. Our plan is to these type of workshops to lift him up, to make sure that there will be like a trend in Sri Lanka for this type of education. Right. So then what we did was, now then we went to schools. Now this is one of the schools. They are running their most innovative teacher of the year 2019 by themselves. Now we are like going to school by school. We are saying that if we do this as a competition within your school, the teachers will perform well, so your students will do well. So as a result of that, it has advantage for them. So we act as a like free consultants to them. We tell them how to do this type of workshop, how to motivate teachers. Now this is one of the school like they are practicing most innovative teacher of the year 2019 within their school. So now we are creating the mini project for most innovative teacher of the year. Right. So now we have like advisor panel. So next year, so what we are going to do is we always want to take advices from our advisor panel. So Marco is there whenever we need help, we consult him. Michael is there. Yapo is there. and Professor Suneta Karnal is there. So what we do is we keep taking guidance from them. So our plan is to make sure as much as mini project among school for innovative teaching. Right. Then last month we started our first office called Sri Lankan Dream Education Consultancy. So in there, what we do is we do give free consultanship for school how to convert their education. Now, obviously, we won't be able to convert the education 100% because Sri Lankan education system is even far away from Finnish education system. So, like, if we can drive it up to at least the Finnish education system, that's also like huge achievement. So like now I know Mark is trying to push Finnish education system into democratic education system. So like Sri Lanka is far away from that. So what we are doing is we are at least trying to push our education system up to education system that you are experiencing. So that will be more democratic than what we are having today. So that's what we are doing. So that's our new project. And other than that, so we are like with the help of Marco, we contact I think I can't remember her name. That's Paulina, right? Yes. So we contact Paulina. So Paulina helping us to bring down some of the education directors from Sri Lanka into Finland and to show how the education takes place in Finland. So I think they are going to visit on not 11th. They are going to visit on 25th of August. So there will be like 20 group of people. Most of them are from Ministry of Education, and some of them are like school owners, so private school owners. So what we want to do is we want to make an impact. We want to show them what are the things they can practice. So if they take at least few good quality things from Finland, and if they start practicing in Sri Lanka, so there will be a huge change in it. Right. Then what we are going to do is we are going to start 2019 Sri Lankan Democratic Education Conference. So we are going to keep on doing that one. For this one, we need help because we need speakers. So the one is like at the moment we are running like as a non-profit organization. We don't take any profit at all. So therefore 2019 Sri Lankan Democratic Education Conference also we are trying to make it a little bit beyond what we are already there, because at 2018 we were only able to like go up to 2,884 teachers, but in Sri Lanka there are 200,000 teachers. So we are trying to go beyond that. So that's our next program. And the next thing is I also in 2019 we are planning to start a democratic primary education in Sri Lanka, but it's really impossible because we are searching for investors because inside the country. So but like we find a proper investor with the proper mindset, because we have to convince them. So what's we are going to do. And so if you are interested on doing this Sri Lankan if you are interested in taking part of the Sri Lankan Democratic Education Council 2019 conference 2019, you can email us. So if you would like to participate, so mainly what we are few only speakers who have the proper democratic education background. So when they can come to Sri Lanka, so if they if they put their ideas, so it will be really good, because last time we had if you go to if you want to see what they did last time, so last time we had one presentation from Marco, and we had Mike speaking about how the students should be take part in taking decisions in school, and Michael talk about what are the changes we can do in the existing school system, and Cecilia talk about how Australian education system, how they convert that into democratic education. Then Nessie was representing about how the students will form. She was representing students as a students who went through democratic education. She explained what are the differences in the normal school system and the democratic education system. So those are the things we had. So you can visit all our speeches if you go to there's a YouTube channel called Sri Lankan Dreams. So if you go to our page, you will see this one. So wherever you go, you can click one of any of the speeches, then you can get an idea about democratic education in Sri Lanka. Okay. Now it's time for your questions.
All right, that looks exciting. I'm really curious about how the teachers respond to when you explain the democratic education to them.
It's like that's the best thing. I didn't use the word democratic education.
Right.
So they're like, what we are giving is not right. So that's what I say.
Yeah.
So what I did was I just used certain, like, this is one example here. There's a group of teachers. They are making an automated scissor, but they are using it just a small motor, normal scissor, toothpicks, and a like cap of a bottle. Like when they made it, they realized that without knowing they're learning how to use physics concept in their activities and those types. So they said that so this is like really good. And when they tried that one in classrooms, they found that it's really hard to send students out from the classroom. So usually in Sri Lanka, it's really hard to bring them into the classroom and keep them for 40 minutes. But here, when the lesson is over, the students, they don't want to leave. So they were really impressed about it. So that's why most like 3 schools, they are doing really successfully. So they are doing these type of activities like once a month, each class, they will have a lesson of this. So they feel the difference. So I'm not telling them it's democratic education. Only in the conference we use this democratic education conference.
Yeah.
But like we are putting the elements in democratic education to their day-to-day practices.
Yeah.
So it's like you are giving the same thing, but like without the name.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So what are the main projects you are working on at the moment?
Main project is like this one. This is called Makerspace.
Yeah.
Especially Makerspace in schools. That's one of the project. Then next project we have is teacher training workshop. Like where you go like when some schools they're not willing to take the Makerspace. Sometimes they don't have enough financial like pages to get a Makerspace. So in those schools we are doing teacher training workshops. And so then we are working on this one, most innovative teacher of the year 2019. And then we have this one. We take the teachers, the most innovative teachers on 2018. We are going around the country organizing workshops. Like this is one in Kurnagal. So district by district, we are going to talk to like sponsor this type of workshop. So now this is sponsored by these 2 people. They sponsor the place and refreshment for the crowd. So likewise, we are going around the country searching for those type of workshops and initiating mini most innovative teacher award ceremony, award competitions within schools, and education consultancy, sending people to Finland as soon as here we are mainly focusing on people who are involved in Sri Lankan education. That means from the Ministry of Education, the people who can take decisions. So we keep on sending to Finland to see how Finland school do their work. So obviously Finland has a good reputation. So they will take them, like if the Finland has good reputation, they might say that these are positive things, then start practicing them. Yes, those are the projects. So we have 5 projects ongoing.
Yeah.
When is the conference?
Usually we have it like on 1st of December. Each year, 1st of December.
1st of December. No, but when is the you're having a democratic education conference, right?
Yeah.
And what's the date?
1st of December, 2019.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you had it. Are you having another one?
Yes, 2018 we had it. So 2019 we are going to have it again. So we are going to make it like annual event.
Okay. And the people you showed, they were speakers last year, or they're going to come this year?
No, they were speakers from the last year.
I see. Okay.
So
and so if you send me, put me on your mailing list,
yeah.
we can put that date in our calendar. We have a newsletter that goes out to 14,000 people every week who are involved with alternative education. And so we can put that on our calendar. And are you going to the IDEC in Ukraine?
I am like, there's like financial problems, so I won't be able to make it. And the next thing is, it's hard to get visa. you're like you can only go to Singapore and Dubai without visa. For the others, you have to have visa for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, well, I know all about that. To get people to come to our IDEC, I was on the phone to U.S. embassies 3 o'clock in the morning for days on end.
Yeah, because like Sri Lanka is like one of the it's the ninth least powerful passport in the world. It's really hard.
Yeah, but it seems like I think you could probably arrange it, but you might need someone to kind of help push it.
Yeah, so that part is there because I was able to come to Finland because on that time I was in Pata. So in Pata it's easy to get into Finland. From Sri Lanka it's really hard.
Right. Yeah.
Also, it would be interesting if you could send me an article or something about it. We can also put that in the newsletter.
Yeah, definitely. Marco, do you have Jerry's email address?
Yeah, it's when you go to the open space, you can find Terry's email on the platform for the participants. And if you don't, I can just send it to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jerry. I'll definitely send all the details.
Well, also our website is educationrevolution.org, and you can write to me from the website too.
Okay. Okay.
How fast do you think the situation can change in a country like Sri Lanka?
It might take I don't know, it might take even 20-30 years, but if someone has to keep on pushing, that's each and every year we make it's a ripple effect. We create a ripple, it goes at the end of it it goes miles because we keep on pushing. So I think the best one thing we have to do is we have to focus on our own school. So that's another thing. But in Sri Lanka, the main problem we have is the land and the rent of buildings are really expensive. So the space is the main problem. So even if an outside person comes and try to buy a land in Sri Lanka, they have to pay I think double the original price. That problem is also there. So that's the main issue we are having. So because if we are planning for a democratic school, there should be enough space for students to do their activities and everything. So that's one major issue we are facing. That's type of problem. So until that, what we are going to do, we are keep on making conference, we are keep on awareing people. There'll be one point someone with enough financial resources might get convinced and they might start a school. That's what we are expecting.
Not that anybody will be there. I don't know.
Yeah. So how is the funding of the schools? How much of the schools are funded by the government, and how many private schools are there?
All right. So in Sri Lanka, so we have almost 5,000 schools funded by government. So there are only 300 private schools. So those schools they are not mainly focusing on the IDEC curriculum. That's a British curriculum. So in the students who are studying there, they are planning to go outside the country and do their higher studies. So education is free, but 5,000 schools funded by government, but the resources in the schools are very limited. So that's the main problem we have.
Yeah.
Are there any schools in Sri Lanka now that you would describe as actually democratic schools?
No, because the schools, the 5,000 Sri Lankan schools, they are more focusing on government curriculum. It's a highly competitive curriculum because we have only 9 universities. So each and every student want to get graduate. So only 5% of the whole population, school population, will be able to get into a university. So therefore, it's highly competitive exams. So
do you know the DAV schools in India?
Yeah.
Well, I did a consultation for them, and they wanted me to help them actually make some schools democratic. And I did one particular consultation with a school in Nuwan, where their headquarters is. Hey, John. and it's 2,600 students. So that was a challenge. How do you do a democratic school with 2,600 students? I did about 20 meetings with different subgroups that week to show them how to do democratic process. And then we eventually had a parliament, but not the usual type of parliament. Each of the people from the groups was supposed to have their own meetings on the agenda and then bring the results to the parliament to put them together. Well, that was the idea of it. And I doubt that it continued, but it was an interesting approach to try to make a large school democratic so that there could be actual serious discussions in all of the subgroups where they would then take a vote and those votes would eventually all be put together. So, you know, I think that that is an interesting challenge to try to figure out how to have a democratic school in a large school.
Yeah, well, like in Sri Lanka also, like there's like we call them like child parliament. Each and every school they have it, but the problem is none of the decisions or the ideas taken from there that goes into practice. So therefore, the curriculum stay the same, but the voice of the students are is neglected. So that problem is there. So yes, in Sri Lanka schools, there's one school we have at least 8,000 students. And usually, like in government schools, the number of students like around 3,000, 4,500 per school. The problem is there.
I think if you have the will to do it, there are ways to make it work.
Yes, yes, definitely. So that's what we are planning to do. Like that's why we are keep on pushing each and every year.
Yeah. What is the technology level of the population, like the students? How many of the students have smartphones?
Students, they don't like, I don't think most of them, they don't have smartphones.
Yeah.
But like usually like the parents, they don't buy it. Like otherwise they do have access to internet.
Yeah.
Almost like 60% of the population from the students, they have access to internet. Even like, but the internet access is not that much rare around the country. But the only problem is like without proper guidance, they don't know how to use that internet and everything for like studies and all those things. Because one of the things is like the softwares available in they are really expensive. So therefore they don't have like most of the access. Because like if you take the currency level in Sri Lanka, so when you convert to Sri Lanka rupees, softwares are so expensive. So most of the time students are using the fake ones. So with fake softwares, you can't access most of the data in the internet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, Peter from Wales, UK. He's running the Vocal Eyes project, which is a platform where the students can participate in the decision making or creating new ideas and taking the ideas into action. So this is something that could be interesting for you also.
Yeah.
So I have recorded Peter's workshops, so you can watch them online. I will have the links later on in there, and I can send you also.
Okay, that will be great. I'm going to that one.
Yeah. I think that's one interesting way of solving the democracy problem in a big school. To have a kind of online platform where everybody can join and participate.
Yeah, that will be a good thing.
It's interesting that when I was in India, which would have been about 10 or 12 years ago, they didn't really have that technology. We speculated that with that technology, that might be a way to make a big school democratic. And now I realize, yeah, it could be done with that. Do you know anybody who's doing it, Marco?
Well, Peter has gotten a really nice deal with the Cardiff, the capital of Wales. So they've decided to take this software into use in all the schools of Cardiff. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it's going to go.
Wow. Of course, the question is, would they just consider them to be polls, or would they actually consider them to be making decisions?
It's making decisions. They are creating projects which are actually being carried out. So yeah, it's part of the UNICEF kind of badge. So the city wants to be a kind of child-friendly city, and to earn that badge, they need to kind of show that they are doing something actual. And this is one of the projects.
So is that software like free of charge? Like,
I think, well, Peter, of course, he wants to get the money somewhere, but I suppose because you probably don't have so much money, so it's probably free for you, at least for testing and trying out and experimenting. And maybe if you have rich schools that want to try it, they can possibly pay for it.
yeah, so yeah, I can like convince some schools so where they can try on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be good.
Yeah, you can find also Peter's information on the platform.
Okay. Okay, definitely I'll try to contact him.
Yeah. So any questions for Nuwan?
I have a question from Jerry, if it's possible. Can you also help us how to deal with the governments in order to implement democratic education in the country? Because in Iran, for example, we have a very centered educational system, and as far as I know, they are not that open. Yes, so in the current system, there are some schools who are trying to be somehow democratic. Some of them are getting close to Summerhill style, maybe, if I can say it. But still, that democratic as much as we don't have it. And I don't think if they accepted legal at the very beginning, and it would be a very big challenge to start how to convince parents, because they are worried about the future of their children, although they may believe in your system, but still they want their children to be accepted and graduated from the school. And also from the governmental point of view, because they can constantly close the school. So is there any way how to solve this issue? Do you have any experience or any suggestion?
Is that for me or Jerry?
Anyone, but I think Jerry is more experienced here. I don't know. If you have any suggestion also, I would be glad to hear.
Maybe Nuwan, if you can tell how you started the Teacher of the Year project. Did you contact some government people or?
No, first I did contact, so they were not interested.
Yeah.
So what we are doing now, it's like most of our governments are democratic governments. So what will happen? They based on people's vote. So then I realized that okay, like if the government is not willing to, the reason why they are not willing to listen, it is not coming from majority of the people. So if something comes from the majority of the people, the government will accept it because they based on votes. So that's what I'm trying to do it. So that's why I just start by myself to create the boost among the people. So if we have considerable amount of voice right now, obviously at the first time I was not invited even to like the Ministry of Education. Then what will happen? I organized this conference. So then I asked Ministry of Education people, just when there are like some directors here and there, I just said come and sit there. Guess what I asked? So you are free of charge, you are invited, you get all the facilities, just come and listen what they are going to talk. So after that, so last week I was able to like, they invited me to come into the Ministry of Education and give a speech for directors who are like involved in the country. So the next year for the most senior teacher of the year conference now, each and every province, the education ministry will support them. So that's how what we are going to do is like we have to first make sure that they will hear us, then we will convince, then when they support us, then when the number of people around us increase, obviously government will hear, like listen what we are going to say, because government is based on people votes. Where the votes are, the government will work for it. So we have to talk to votes.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And Terry, you still around? Your mic is muted if you are hearing. It might have been Terry might have gone away for a while.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if my I don't really have experience so much, but oh, Terry's back. Did you hear the question? I cannot hear you. The question was whether like how to influence the government. Like Mariam is from Iran, and it's very like a central government system, and she's wondering if you have some experience in how to contact or how to influence the government.
Actually, that's not my area of expertise at all. And, you know, I know people who have tried to do that. It doesn't seem to get anywhere. It doesn't seem to get anywhere when you try to change the system from within. So my general approach through most of my career is to work outside the system and just try to create innovative models that people can look at and where the ideas can spread. But on the other hand, that could get you into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, in some places.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's exactly my idea. I would prefer to do something from out of the system, not to deal with the government and politics. But on the other hand, the question is how do you inspire people to trust you when you don't have any support from the formal educational system of the country? And you know, it's very difficult to convince people. You know, there are very, very rare people who both believe in you and your system and take the risk of putting their children in such a system that when they come out, they really don't know what to expect.
Well, one of the ways to start is to not do it as a school, but to do it as a camp or as a weekend thing. And you also can start having meetings to talk about these ideas, and then those people who understand them and who are interested will come back, and you can organize it step by step like that.
Okay,
thank you. Then I will keep in touch. Now let me think about it.
Yeah, Nuwan?
Did Mariam left?
No,
Yes, right?
no.
So I'll give you like another idea to Mariam. So what we can do is, first what you have to do is like, so you have to do something very small. Then after that, you have to create what you call like glamour around you. So that means like you have to make sure that you are someone like who should be listened to. So I'll show you one example. So what I have done. So what I did was I started with small projects. So I started with small projects. I keep on doing those projects. Then I make sure that the people around me will start listening to me. So that's what I did was how I get those recognition. So there's one like if Mariam is she a teacher or like someone else?
Sorry.
Mariam is Mariam like Mariam is a teacher from Iran or like just involved in education?
I am actually working with Isfahan Mathematics House, which is kind of an NGO organization to make mathematics joyful for students. But it is my own concern to make some changes in education.
Right. So
Yeah.
Mariam, in your one, there might be some a recognition method. Like, so obviously we need some recognition. So there might be some recognition techniques or something which will recognize you in international level. So what I did was I used this. I'll show you this one. I think. So this is one of my presentation. I'll just show you quick clip of it. So this is one of, like, I got the recognition why, because I start a small one. So a small project keep on doing in the school again and again. So as a result of that, they invited me for the Global Teach Prize. So I was the only one who was like able to get in from Sri Lanka, because nobody tries it. So it's not hard to get in there. So when you go there, like now you have a, like when you have the global recognition, you can bring that concept where you can bring that like what you call, like, you get brand yourself. So when you get brand yourself, people will start listening to you. So when people start listening to you, then only you can start convincing them. So what you have to do is, first you have to make sure that you brand yourself. That means you are a public figure or someone should be listened to, and then only the people will start listening to you. Otherwise the people won't come and listen to you. That's what you have to do. First you have to brand yourself. Make an icon, make you a role model of the country, then make sure that at least some people gathered around you. So that's the best thing. You can start with your NGO, like a small project, which will be internationally recognized. Make that project to spread your idea around the country.
It just occurred to me that I have another answer to that question. And it's something that we've done with the IDEC a few times. When we were in Germany, we had our IDEC there in 2005. And what we did is, on the last day of that conference, and this was organized by Michael, we had a meeting at a prestigious university. And we had a lot of our main speakers come and do presentations at that university. By doing it in that way, it sort of legitimized this whole idea. And then things changed in Germany. All of a sudden, democratic education was a thing. You know, it was something that had been legitimized. It's something that had been talked about at this big, prestigious university. All of a sudden, it was cutting edge. And I think 7 years later, when we had the IDEC in England, a third of the participants were people from democratic schools in Germany. So change can take place that fast. So that's another approach that can be taken. And I think since then, there have been a few other places that have done something similar.
Yeah.
And could you tell us which university it was?
Oh, I don't remember, but Michael Wyman would know. He's the one who organized it.
Yeah, it was in Berlin. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was the German university.
Yeah.
Yes.
The local university, German local. Yeah, I tried the strategy to create a democratic school in Portugal already, like more or less 9 years, and it was impossible. So I changed the strategy, and I was thinking, okay, so what the Portuguese like? They believe a lot in science. So okay, so I will come back to the academy. I will do the PhD, and after they will listen me. So that's you know, I hope it will work. because I know the characteristic of Portuguese society. So maybe you can just try to see if in Iran it would be it works also if they respect science and university and academic work. And
yeah, well, they do, but we have a lot of PhDs nowadays, so I don't think mine counts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody for the comments. But Marco, I think you had also something to say.
Yeah, I was wondering because the school that I'm starting, the idea is that it's a democratic school. It will be governed by the school community and the students, but the focus is on solving global challenges. So we have a kind of a vision and a task to do, and it's a kind of exclusive school, but because it's meant for only students who are actually interested in trying to solve global challenges. So, but it's an idea that it could be approved by the mainstream because it has a clear purpose while still being a democratic school. So that could be one idea to think about.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also thinking about, there are some NGOs in Iran who are working for street children, and I'm thinking that maybe we can also start with them. I don't know if it is easy to convince them because probably they want to make some education experience for them. So I'm not sure if they are open to this kind of totally democratic systems, but maybe we can bring some ideas into the course, and then I think they have some more flexibility. Maybe they are not that dependent on the government, so I have to check.
Yeah, you can also be in touch with me with our Pakistani project, because that's a street children project for our democratic.
Yeah, sure, of course. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
So should we wrap up and give floor to John?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Marco. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. It sounds so exciting what's happening there, and you have such an energy and will to make a change, and I really appreciate it.
Remember to send me some information.
Yes, definitely, John. Definitely.
All right.
Okay.
So
I'll stop sharing now.
Okay, and I'll stop the recording.